I just wrapped up Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. This is a new adventure game from Night School Studios, which is owned by Netflix. And this was a huge deal in the video game industry, the fact that Netflix clearly is taking video games seriously to the point that they are purchasing acclaimed studios like Night School, who hit it out of the park with Oxenfree back in 2016. And much to my shame, I didn't play through Oxenfree. I touched it. I played it for a little bit, but I didn't stick with it. And I think that has mostly to do with the fact that I'm not an enormous fan of graphic adventure style games. Although I really did enjoy what Don't Not did with the Life is Strange games. Oxenfree is a little bit different. It is a graphic adventure style game, but you're not really chasing after items and trying to collect things and piece them together. It's not like a hunt and peck across the screen. This is much more a series now about having deep conversations with the characters that you interact with. So it's an incredibly well-written experience, and I do have to say that Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals, which I had a chance to check out at the Summer Game Fest Play Days a little bit earlier this year, really drew me in. I was really compelled to find out more about Riley, who is this woman that comes back to her hometown, the Camino Coast, and she is tasked with this job of putting up a bunch of transmitters up around town, and then things start to go a little bit squirrely, a little bit crazy, and like the first Oxenfree, there are all kinds of weird supernatural things that start happening, these time rifts and these really interesting visual phenomena that happen, and Riley starts to get a little bit spooked by all the stuff that's happening, as do you as the player, but luckily she's not alone entirely on the adventure. She meets up with some allies, but then there are all kinds of interesting nuances that tie a little bit of the storytelling to the previous Oxenfree title, but also to the mythology around this area, and there are some familiar elements for people that played the first Oxenfree game. They weren't that familiar to me, but I could kind of piece it together. But the game has definitely been engineered for you to be able to play this and enjoy it without having played the first game. And I think there's going to be a lot more attention paid to this game because of this deal with Netflix. Now, I have to say that you can get this game on your mobile device. If you've got a Netflix account, you can just download it to your iOS or Android device, which is pretty damn cool. I played this on the Nintendo Switch, and it was a good fit on the Switch, although I did find that the loading times were kind of driving me a little bit crazy. And I also thought that in terms of telling a story and being enveloped by the narrative, they could have done a little bit more with giving us some close-ups and giving us some different kind of camera angles on objects, on maybe not faces, but drawing us in a little bit. Because what happens in this game is that you get into these drawn-out conversations, which are well-written and expertly performed. I thought the voice acting all the way through this was terrific, but you spend a lot of time just chatting, and I get itchy thumbs. Like, I gotta start doing stuff with the character when I am just looking at the screen, listening to people chatter. And so I had Riley just running circles around characters as they were chatting, because I was going nuts just waiting for the new action thing to happen within the game. And there is, a little bit of climbing, and there is a little bit of exploration and stuff. It's pretty linear. I did love the artistic, almost painterly look of this video game. I thought it looked really damn cool, and there are some awesome spooky visual effects, and there's a lot of incredible audio work, as you can imagine, not just with the voices, but all kinds of great sound effects, some sort of Stranger Things type of moody music that punctuates the nervousness that you're feeling, because you don't know what's around every corner. And I think that is the best thing about the game, is that there is this element of like, what's going to happen next? Where is this going to take me? There's also an emotional resonance with these characters as they start to know each other and as you start to know them and their histories. And because we're playing with a little bit of time in this game, there's also these really interesting echoes of things that have happened before, and that's about as much as I'll spoil with the game. I definitely think it's worth checking out. I was entertained by this game, and I think that's asking quite a bit, because usually I check out if it's just going to be about conversations and just going to be about these dialogue trees, which are really expertly programmed, by the way. I mean, it's reactive conversations, and depending on how quickly you press buttons to activate your choices impacts the way the conversations flow, which is very interesting. And of course, there are choices, and the game is kind of remembering the choices and the specific kinds of directions that you're going as you're playing through and getting to know everybody. And it's not just characters on screen, you also have a walkie-talkie, and you start to meet other characters that are off screen. You meet up with these kids that have been brainwashed, and they've got some nefarious agendas that you have to kind of contend with and deal with, and you're trying to solve the mystery, and you're tasked with being a bit heroic, but you're also trying to kind of understand your place in all of this and who your character is going to be. And so you have some pathos while you're playing this. You have some empathy for the character. There's definitely emotions that ripple all the way through this that are, I think, really well crafted. Honestly, I think it's a pretty damn sweet game. I don't think it's state of the art. I don't think it compares quite to what the Life is Strange series has done for me, but this might be something incredible for you. And the fact that Night School Studios, the company that made this, has been working on this since 2016, since the first Oxenfree came out, is pretty significant. This is a well-made adventure title, and it's clear to see why Netflix invested in this company, and I guess this narrative, because likely we're going to see Oxenfree tales in live-action form or animated form in some capacity on Netflix down the road. I enjoyed Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. I think if you're a fan, I think this one is going to be right up your alley. I don't know if it's as maybe revolutionary as the first Oxenfree was, because it kind of came out of nowhere and it kind of took the industry by storm when it did, but I still think it's worth checking out whether you're a super fan or whether you're just curious. Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals, I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.